Welcome back to Purple Catharsis Podcast, where the feeling is the healing. Today is the 11th of the 21 Days Energy Reset. Today's episode is called Clarity is Not Aggression, Clarity is Direction. And today's energy reset is Clarity Without Defense. Today, Petunia already made the decision. She thought about it. She felt it. She sat with it. She knows what she needs to do. The decision is clear, but now comes the part that makes her nervous. Communicating it, because sometimes making the decision is not the hardest part. Sometimes the hardest part is saying it out loud without turning it into a full presentation. Petunia knows this feeling. She already knows what she wants to say. But at that moment when she has to say it to someone else, her nervous system opens a PowerPoint. Slide 1. Here is why I made this decision. Slide 2. Here is my emotional history. Slide 3. Here are 12 reasons I am not a bad person. Slide 4. Please do not be upset with me. And suddenly, Petunia is preparing a whole TED Talk for a sentence that could have been simple. Then she pauses and she realizes, wait, I am not applying for approval. I am communicating clearly. And before we continue, let me say this with love. This is not therapy. This is not medical advice. This is not legal advice. This is an energy reset, a pause to trust ourselves with honesty and kindness. And just to be clear, choosing joy never means choosing harm. Real joy does not need victims. Now back to Petunia, because sometimes we over explain, not because the other person truly needs more information, but because we are nervous about their reaction. We want them to understand perfectly. We want them to agree. We want them to see our heart. We want them to say, oh, okay, Petunia, your decision makes sense. Here is your certificate of emotional approval. But life does not always work like that. Some people will understand, some people will not, some people will need time, some people will have feelings, and some people will act like your decision personally attacked their breakfast. But that does not mean your decision is wrong. It only means they are having their own reaction. And Petunia does not need to turn her clarity into a court case, because the more she explains from nervousness, the more her truth starts, sounding like it is asking for permission. And Petunia is not asking for permission, not permission to choose, not permission to grow, not permission to change, not permission to have joy in her life. She is communicating clearly. Maybe it is about a job. Petunia gets a better opportunity. Now she has to say, I wanted to let you know I have decided to move forward with another opportunity. That is clear. That is respectful. That is enough. No full report is needed. And this can happen anywhere, at work, at home, in relationships, or in any place where your choice changes what others expect from you. And listen, not every question is an attack. Sometimes someone questions a decision because they love you, because they care, because they want to understand. That kind of question can be received with appreciation, but there is a difference between someone asking from a love place and someone asking because they are losing access to your constant availability. One comes from care, the other comes from convenience. One wants to understand your heart, the other wants to negotiate your freedom. And Petunia is learning to feel the difference, because some people are not asking questions to understand. They are asking questions to negotiate. They want a small crack in the door so they can say, but what about this? But are you sure? And suddenly, Petunia is standing there, defending a decision she already made. Not today. Today, Petunia is practicing clean communication. Simple, kind, clear, complete, not cold, not rude, not dramatic, just clear. Maybe it sounds like, I have decided to move forward, or I understand this may be disappointing, but this is my decision. That is it. Because sometimes two clear sentences are better than 20 nervous ones. And silence after a clear sentence is not an emergency. Petunia does not have to rush in and fill it. She does not have to rescue people from their feelings. She does not have to keep talking until everyone approves. She can let the sentence stand. That is the practice. Let the sentence stand. Because truth does not become more true just because we explain it 10 different ways. And a decision does not become more valid just because someone else understands every detail. So, today's reset is simple: say less, mean it more. Before Petunia explains, she asks herself, am I giving helpful context or am I trying to earn approval? Helpful context feels calm. Approval seeking feels nervous. Helpful context supports communication. Approval seeking begs to be understood. And Petunia is not begging today. She is communicating. So today, Petunia reminds herself, I do not need to over explain what is already clear inside me. I can be kind and still be brief. I am not applying for approval. I am not asking permission to have joy in my life. I am communicating clearly because clarity is not aggression. Clarity is direction. And today, Petunia remembers her truth does not need 1,000 words to be real. This was Purple Catharsis, where the feeling is the healing. See you next time.